Hey everybody, Jim and Joshua here to talk about some big news here on the Marvel Comics front. We now live in a world that will have not one but two Wolverine characters.
Yeah.
An announcement this week that the new, I guess, a spoiler warning, or is it?
Marvel announced it. It's not a spoiler. We're not spoiling it.
Okay, so the new official Wolverine is actually X-23, the female clone of Wolverine. But it now appears that she will likely coexist with Old Man Logan from that alternate universe, that famous classic storyline. Joshua, what up with that?
Yeah, this is kind of a big curveball because they kind of tease, oh, there's going to be a new Wolverine, and we got two. And we sort of saw like the writing on the wall with the X-23 because she's a big part of the Wolverines comic.
Yeah.
Where like her and Lady Deathstrike, Sabretooth, and everybody were trying to like fulfill the role of Wolverine because they say the world needs a Wolverine. They actually almost brought the old Wolverine back, the one who died last year.
Yeah.
But they stopped it at the last second. Mystique did because she doesn't like him, and so it looks like now she X-23 will don the mantle and become the new Wolverine. And we don't really know what role Old Man Logan will play because it's not him in the costume, right? They could have just brought him in, put him in the costume, it would have been gray-haired Wolverine, but they're not. Like, she's the new Wolverine. So it just sort of like begs the question of, what does this mean now that X-23 is Wolverine? Like, what does it mean to be Wolverine?
Yeah, and it's not just a costume and claws. Wolverine has a function he has to serve on the team, any team that he's on. He has a host of kind of networks and sources and connections that a younger character like X-23 simply hasn't amassed over her kind of lifespan in the comics. I would suggest that Wolverine he has to be the one. He's got to be the firewall, basically, of the X-Men. Like, everyone else can break either physically or mentally or emotionally, whatever. He can't. He has to be the one at the end of the day that keeps everything together. The one that, when everything else, all the dust is settled, he'll still be standing, unless he's been turned into a statue.
Which happened, sorry. Wolverine has a lot of experience, and I think that's the thing, and it makes me sort of wonder, she's relatively, young for a superhero, so she just doesn't have all that experience. He's been in bad situations, he knows lots of people, he's been in lots of fights. Yeah. She's very deadly in her own right, she's a trained assassin.
But just because she has his DNA doesn't mean that she doesn't have the experience that he has acquired, as you're saying. Just because you have claws and have Wolverine-like abilities doesn't make you Wolverine. Otherwise Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike. If it's just thrown on a costume, anyone could have done it. But so you think then that she has to essentially kind of go to night school, if you will, like amass some Wolverine-type world experience to really.
Yeah, because he has so many connections, right? How many times have X-Men gone into unfriendly territory, but he knew somebody from his past?
Yeah.
She doesn't have something like that.
Whether it's like S.H.I.E.L.D. having connections with S.H.I.E.L.D. to, what is it, Madripoor, right? Where he was Patch, I think, right?
Yes. And then, Wolverine also, he was running the Xavier school. So is she now going to run an entire school? Is that what falls under the mantle of Wolverine? And Wolverine's obviously known, for taking mentoring young mutants, like Kitty Pryde, Jubilee. So is she going to start mentoring people?
She might have to, because Wolverine is, by virtue of being the toughest and sometimes probably the scariest of the X-Men, he also, though, has had to really step up, and for a guy who wants to be a loner and is ostensibly a loner, he has had to accept that there's something larger than himself and his own needs that is, that he has to serve. And I think, taking on the mantle of Wolverine means that as well. You do have to kind of care for the other ones, mentor them, look out for them, protect them, fight for them, maybe die for them if need be, it's not just, if it was as simple as throwing on a costume or growing your beard, I
want to see her beard.
Yeah.
I want to see her mutton chops.
Yeah, so we, I think we're in agreement that there are going to be certain life lessons that she'll have to learn. But physical skill set wise, How far along is she in terms of being as badass as Wolverine in that regard?
It's, you know, it's funny about Wolverine. What makes it so badass isn't just the fact that you can like set him on fire and he'll just like stand there and let it burn and then kill you anyways.
Yeah.
It's almost like his like attitude, and he's this scrappy attitude that he'll get into any fight even if it looks like it's not going to go his way.
Right.
So she's very like deadly and like ferocious in a lot of ways. So I think she can kind of like match him for that. She'll have to maybe grow a little bit, but I think I do like her as Wolverine, and I think that she can do it. But as far as like becoming this like interconnected figure throughout the Marvel universe, and who can, you know, do things, and you know, do things that you said he was like an amoral character when we were talking earlier, of just that maybe all the other heroes don't want to do. Like he does the stuff, the dirty stuff too.
I mean, he had to kill Jean Grey. You said, hey, you reminded me he killed children at one point.
He killed a kid in the Ultimate Universe, which is different than this, but it's a good
Yeah.
example.
But so, all right, there are a lot of tests yet ahead for this version of Wolverine. Any final points you want to make on this character, or did we cover?
She's also going to need to say bub and start smoking and drinking a lot. So.
Well, I can help her with at least part of that. All right. Well, we want
Wolverine's new mentor, Jim Bavida.
That's right. We want to know what you think it takes to actually be Wolverine. If you're excited about this new lineup, what you'd like to see happen for all things Wolverine, X-Men, Marvel. Keep it here on IGN.